And we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to Ezira Hangout number 2, where we talk about the Ezira project and how we're going to build a platform to enable everybody to share information and value freely. So to start us off today, we'll be going to the introduction that we're going to be having every week so that everyone who's new to the live stream can get a feel for what Ezira is and for what Ezira plans to become going forward. So we'll introduce everybody to the Ezira platform. So what is Ezira? Ezira is a distributed platform. It uses graphene blockchain software and delegated proof-of-stake consensus to record posts and transactions. Files are linked into IPFS, which are hosted on supernodes. Ezira is a social media platform. Ezira will allow users to post any text or files to boards, profiles, and pages. Board posts are sorted according to votes and views, and they're weighted by stake in Ezira and Ezira power. Feeds are sorted by votes and views when received from a followed or connected account or a subscribed board. Sorting options are customizable using parameters. It's a decentralized exchange. Any user-issued assets and smart coins will be able to be created for free, and they'll be able to be traded with no fees on maker orders. Assets can receive revenue streams from specified sources directly. It's a peer-to-peer marketplace. Products can be listed for sale on store pages and purchased without any transaction fees. Small fees are applied when users choose to use a mediation team to ensure that there is no fraud and that the products are delivered as specified. So today's agenda, we'll be going through the project updates for this week. I'll be reading and narrating the Ezira outline, and we'll be discussing the Ezira use case promotion graphics. We'll be discussing some Ezira whitepaper revision proposals. I'll take you through the crowdfunding process, the community competition that is going to be released starting tomorrow, the featured application idea for this week, which is the Decentralized Investment Fund. We'll have a summary of the Ezira Sharedrop, and then we'll have some questions and answers and general discussion. So getting back to the Ezira outline. So I'll read through the Ezira outline so that people who are new to Ezira can discover what it is that we're trying to build. Ezira offers everyone freedom, transparency, and community. It is a new platform to help everybody to share information and value freely. Ezira is a social media and business platform. That means it will let everybody post anything they want to, trade any digital property, and create any digital business that they can imagine. Ezira is owned and operated by users. People that have powerful computers can earn rewards for running the Ezira network. Everybody that posts to Ezira will also earn rewards depending on the amount of votes they earn from their community of viewers. Ezira pays its users rewards using a special type of digital money called Ezira coin. Users can purchase Ezira or commit to holding their Ezira coin for a longer time, and they are able to earn interest on their savings and hold more voting power by converting it into Ezira power. Ezira coin is a new type of valuable currency that is secured by its users on their own computers. Users that hold more value on the Ezira network by earning or purchasing Ezira coin have more voting influence. A certain amount of Ezira coin is generated every year and divided between everyone that works to help Ezira grow and thrive. Anybody can earn Ezira coin and manage it using their Ezira account. Nobody except the owner of an account can take or spend its Ezira coin without permission. Nobody can create new Ezira coin unless they contribute valuable time and resources to the network. Every owner of Ezira coin can send them to other people for free almost instantly. If you need to send money privately without everyone seeing where it is going, you can send it to another user secretly using Ezira Stealth. Ezira users can choose whether to use an account that is linked to their real-world identity to create a great reputation, to choose a nickname and post without revealing their real-world identity, or to post without using any name at all. Ezira helps everyone by sharing Ezira coin widely and fairly. Everybody that already has some of the most important types of digital money will be given a small amount of Ezira, which represents ownership of the network. Holders of this type of money will earn a small amount of all Ezira coin that are ever created. This is to reward them for owning a piece of the platform. Everybody that uses Ezira each day will earn a small amount of Ezira coin for being a valuable part of the community. You can upload posts to Ezira of anything you want. You can post pictures, videos, music, books, software, or any other files, and they will be saved and secured. Your posts can be listed on a board for the subject you want to talk about and can bring people together to make a digital community. You get to choose who will be able to see them. If you select to post it publicly, it will always be available to everyone forever. If you post it privately, only the people you choose can view them. When you upload something, the people that see it can vote on it if they think it's good. The more people see your post and think it's good, the more rewards it will earn. People can even pay you money to unlock a special part of your post that you choose and pay you tips directly if they think it's really good. This lets everybody earn money from their posts without needing to rely on advertisers. Ezira coin can be used to pay for anything you want to buy. You can buy other types of digital money on Ezira's trading system. You can even make your own new digital money and use it to represent anything you want. You can make a new type of digital money named after your company or your project and sell it to raise funds to help you achieve your goals. Your digital money can then be traded on Ezira by everyone and used to allow your supporters to have a say in your decisions. You can automatically deduct a small amount of all the money you receive and use it to pay rewards to your supporters, or even buy back your money from the exchange to repay them a fixed amount. This lets everybody make and trade their own assets without requiring a big company to act as everybody's middleman. You can buy and sell products on Ezira's marketplace. You can make a special account to represent your business and list products that you want to offer customers. If you want some trustworthy people to secure your purchases, you can pay a small fee and have an independent person act as a middleman for the money and make sure the trade is done correctly by both people. This makes sure that the buyer and the seller uphold their end of the bargain without needing a big company to act as everybody's middleman. The community chooses who the representatives of Ezira are. Everyone that holds voting power gets to choose the people that make the network operate. Anyone can become a part of the leading team of Ezira by providing valuable services to the community and campaigning to be elected. This encourages very skilled people to help Ezira grow and thrive and rewards them for their important work. This means that anybody from any country can take an active role in the progress and services made available, and that the most passionate, hardworking, and skilled people are always able to rise to the top, regardless of the hiring policies and internal politics of any single company. Ezira is different from the other social media networks you are used to. Big social networks are run on powerful computers owned by a single company. They control everyone's information and can access all the private things you store on their websites. They make large amounts of money by using this information to choose which advertisements to show you. They deliberately make the website in such a way that it is proven to maximize the amount of time you spend there, instead of showing you important and valuable content quickly. They usually do not pay you for uploading content, even though you are adding value to their website and earning them money. With Ezira, everybody earns money for contributing to the community, and the files uploaded are stored securely so that only you and the people you choose can read them. They are copied, sliced up, and spread out across the world on computers owned by many individuals, so that no one person can access private information without your permission or stop you from posting content that they disagree with. Your Ezira account can never be banned or suspended from posting, no matter what views and opinions you have. The Ezira platform earns money in a fair and new way. Big social media companies try to keep you watching and browsing for as long as possible, and target ads to cater to every piece of information they have about you. With Ezira, your information is completely private, and promoted posts are targeted only to your public profile information. Everyone at Ezira can purchase a membership to disable promoted posts and support the network directly. You earn access to account benefits, fee discounts, and increased voting influence. Anyone can promote their posts and gain additional exposure for their content or their business. The digital trading platforms have small trading fees, and special content payments also have a small fee. The money that Ezira earns is returned directly to the platform's users by buying Ezira coin, lowering its supply, and increasing its price. This increases the earnings of every Ezira user. Cutting-edge technology is used to run Ezira. It allows every user of the platform to be able to see all the actions that take place and see the balances of all people that earn from Ezira. This ensures that the platform is very transparent and everybody can verify the flow of funds. The account used by the elected leaders of the platform to guide Ezira show all the payments it sends and receives to everybody. Everybody in Ezira is incentivized to work in the long-term best interest of the platform, and those that are chosen by voters to act as representatives are accountable to all the users all the time. And you can learn more about Ezira at www.ezira.io. Then we can see the project roadmap through from February 2017, when the project was first announced on Steam and Bitcoin Talk, right through to the planned first annual election in 2022. You can find Ezira on all major through the Ezira use case promotion graphics. So the Ezira use case promotion graphics can be found for now on the Ezira Twitter account. So the Ezira Twitter account today posted some new infographics that describe all of the use cases that could be possible on the Ezira platform. So there were 5 of them that were released today, and the first one describes a models use case. So a model could theoretically use Ezira to share pictures of photo shoots. Then they would receive content rewards for them, and they would receive tips as well. She would be able to create an Ezira board for all of the modeling albums that she uploads. And then it would be possible for Ezira businesses that work as modeling agencies to find her work and to bring her into one of their production shows. So that's the first one there. The second one is Dave. So Dave is the developer. So the use case of a developer is highly incentivized on Ezira, especially by the developers reward pool. So we can meet Dave. He's a developer. Dave builds great applications and contributes pull requests to open source projects. Dave creates a new interface for the Ezira platform that allows users to remix music tracks and post them. Users enjoy using his application. Dave earns a share of the content rewards that his users receive. His application users vote for Dave in the developer reward pool, where he earns weekly rewards according to his position in the pool. He reaches a high position in the developer's reward pool and earns ongoing funding for his work. And now he merges to production because the elected developers of Ezira will have commit access to the GitHub that will manage the Ezira software client. So going on to the next graphic here is the use case of a fashion designer. So there's 2 based on the fashion industry, which I think is definitely ripe for innovation in the way it distributes media. So again, in this graphic, meet Alison. She's a fashion designer. Alison loves to create elegant and modern outfits. Alison lists her designs on her Ezira Marketplace store. She sells her clothing lines using Ezira's mediators to manage escrow for expensive payments with low fees. Her customers really enjoy her outfits and give them glowing reviews and upvotes. She receives releases an exclusive dress using an auction order on her store and promotes the product using Ezira Coin, because Ezira Coin will enable businesses to promote their products on the promoted post system on Ezira. The dress catches the eye of several influential personalities and sells for a small fortune. Now her lines turn heads. And these all finish with build your next world with Ezira, because that's what we're planning to do. We're enabling everybody from social media entrepreneurs, researchers, content creators of all kinds to build a crypto economic future for themselves and their business. So the next one we have is Jennifer. Meet Jennifer. She's an author. Jennifer loves to write exciting novels. Jennifer writes a fantastic story and connects with her fans. She uploads her book to Ezira, offers the first chapter for free, and sells the entirety of the book as premium content, which is encrypted and requires a payment of $2 to unlock and effectively purchase for that user's account. So there's a micro payment involved of $2, which is fairly cheap for a book if you've ever bought one before, and there would be no price requirement. So she could choose the price of her own book. It could be 1 cent, it could be $20, because there's no transaction fees on Ezira transactions. She buys an Ezira Platinum membership to expand her audience with promotion and earn more content rewards. Her readers upvote her novel to the featured page. So the featured page will have one post added every hour from the best content that Ezira has to offer. Her book goes global, and she starts to write a sequel supported by an Ezira publishing business. Now she inspires passionate readers. So that's the use case of an author. They'd be able to post and release books on the Ezira blockchain. And the last one we have today is Victor. So Victor is the use case of a scientist who is able to publish research papers to the blockchain using Ezira. And we'll just load his graphic. No, his graphic's not loading there, so we'll find back in the folder. And oh no, there it is. Okay, so the next one is meet Victor. He's a scientist. Victor loves to research the intricacies of physics. Victor proposes an experiment to make an important discovery. He funds his project by selling an asset on the Ezira Decentralized exchange to his supporters. So those supporters would receive credit in the work that he produces, and they would have ongoing access to his research before it's released to the public. So these supporters would get benefits as decided and as necessary by Victor to fund his project. He completes the experiment and makes a breakthrough. He posts the results of the experiment to Ezira for peer review, and his findings are validated by other scientists on the platform. His paper reaches the world, and his supporters rejoice. Now he leads the field. Build your next world with Ezira. That's the way that ends there. Okay, so going on to the rest of the agenda. So the next thing we have up to is the Ezira Whitepaper Revision proposals. So we'll head on to those there. Okay, so I've had a few ideas of how I can update the Ezira whitepaper to include a few new features. And these are the top 3 that I want to share with the community today. So 3 ideas that I've had to add into the whitepaper are governance addresses. So I've mentioned this a little while ago, and I want to see the community's reaction to this idea. Governance address is an optional address or account nominated by each user to receive a 15% share of their Ezira fees. So each time you purchase a membership or purchase a promoted post or otherwise burn a Ezira coin to pay for a platform feature, 15% of that amount would be sent to a governance address. And the user would decide which account this governance address is, and this could potentially be used to enable users to make a voluntary contribution to a community organization or a charity, preferred witness officer to fund their ongoing operation of the blockchain, a particular developer that's making a high quality application that the user enjoys, or it could potentially enable specific users to make a voluntary contribution as sort of like a voluntary taxation to a cryptocurrency embracing government for voluntary digital citizenship. So it could be a way for users to effectively pay taxes on crypto if they choose to select their government's account as their governance address, but that would not be required. That would be completely optional. So the next idea I've had is the inheritance. So the inheritance address is an account set and nominated to receive an inheritance distribution after a user has passed away. Benefactors sign a transaction to claim the balance share from the inactive account when it makes no transactions within 90 days after the transaction is released. So effectively, the benefactors to the inheritance proposal would upload a transaction to claim the balance of someone who is deceased. And if that account is inactive and it makes no posts for 90 days or no transactions on the blockchain for 90 days, then that account's share of the inheritance distribution would be passed on to them. So the next idea I've had, so this isn't really my idea, but completing this on a graphene-based blockchain would really improve what is already a fantastic idea that is used by a company called Bancor. So some of you might have heard of the Bancor network, and what they have is the Bancor protocol. So this is a pricing algorithm that allows different assets to be traded for each other in a liquidity pool. And for user-generated Bancor arrays, this would enable a user to create a pool of Ezira assets which can be traded between each other via a smart token for any others in the liquidity pool without an order book at a dynamic price. These arrays would interface with the decentralized exchange to lower price spreads. Users generate a pool with their own assets and decide the reserve ratios in a simple interface. Asset creators can then make relays to trade between their assets and Ezira coin and Ezira dollars for liquidity. So essentially you would deposit your user issued assets into a Bancor array, and then you could trade between all of those assets. You would input one asset into the pool and receive out a distribution in another asset or in the smart token that backs the pool up. So a little bit more research on Bancor arrays is great for anyone looking to see some of the cutting edge technologies that are being made to enable decentralized exchanges to be even better than they are today. So we'll move on to the next topic for today, which is our featured application. Yep, so that's the featured application. Oh, no, we've got two more first. So there's the crowdfunding guide and the community competition. So the crowdfunding guide, I'll take you guys through the process of contributing to the Ezira crowdfunding campaign. So at the moment, you can contribute to the Ezira crowdfunding campaign by going to www.ezira.io/crowdfunding. And here you can make a BitShares wallet very easily. It takes probably 1 minute to make a BitShares wallet. It's even faster than downloading an app on your phone. It's actually incredibly fast and incredibly easy. People really overestimate how hard it is to make a BitShares wallet. It's actually a lot easier than it sounds. It can be done in 5 very simple steps that we'll go through. So the first 5 buttons are linked to the market pairs between Ezira and the 5 contribution assets for this level of the funding round, which is the preliminary ICO. So through here we have the Ezira crowdfunding guide. So it's very easy to create a BitShares account. A user simply goes to bitshares.openledger.info or any other BitShares supporting DEX wallet. There are quite a few. It's simple you just click create account. It's a blue button like that. Then you use the wallet model to create a file on your computer to store your private keys. Then you enter your public account name, which becomes your BitShares address, and you back up the wallet file on your computer in a safe place. That's very important that you have access to your private keys and that they are stored and backed up and safe. So going forward, if this BitShares page does not load, it's very simple. You just switch to a new API node. So sometimes nodes don't load straight away. There are new ones being created by the infrastructure project of BitShares, which we heard about in the BitShares Hangout just yesterday. So that's great news to hear that there are new nodes being created to support light wallets. Then you simply deposit your desired cryptocurrency into your BitShares exchange account, and that can be either Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, BitShares, or any other DEX-supported cryptocurrency asset. So you simply sell the cryptocurrency for BitUSD by going to the exchange section and finding the US dollar or BitUS dollar pair to that cryptocurrency and creating a sell order there. So for those who aren't familiar, BitUSD is a smart coin. It is backed by collateral and tracks the price of $1 US. It's a very, very technologically powerful alternative to US dollar tether, which is backed by the theoretical bank accounts of a single company that has not provided evidence that those bank accounts exist. You can instead have your funds in BitUSD, which is backed by BitShares collateral and is a much safer way to store fiat-denominated crypto assets. So there are multiple markets for purchasing Ezira that are managed and liquidified by the Ezira address, and they are all of the contribution assets from before and BitUSD. So it's up to you to choose which coin you want to use to purchase Ezira. Any of those 5 can be used to go directly and purchase some Ezira to contribute to the campaign. So the last thing you do is you use your BitUSD or whichever other currency you chose to find Ezira from the trading pair. You type in the asset name, Ezira, and you can go to the trading page of Ezira in that asset pair and create a buy order and purchase it from there. I'll just be back in one moment just to get have a drink. Yep, so there are 4 levels of BitShares contributor that'll earn bonus tiers upon the mainnet release of the platform. And those are the holders that have at least 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 Ezira during the snapshot of the Ezira mainnet launch. They'll get varying levels of bonuses when the mainnet is released and 6 months of membership for free at the tier that they satisfy there. So as we can see from the time, there are 145 days remaining in the preliminary ICO. There are approximately 956,000 Ezira remaining to be purchased of a total of 1 million. And unlike many other ICOs, Ezira will be having a fixed price for all contributors to ensure that there are no early contributor bonuses, to make sure that there aren't pump and dumps on the price, and that everyone can get in at a fair equity valuation. So we'll head back to the Discord and see if there's any questions that anyone might have there. So does anyone have any questions about anything we've discussed so far? Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, Steam Power Picks. Yep. It would be, yeah, so the default amount would be 90 days, but this would be completely optional by users. So if they plan to not use the platform for more than 90 days, this would need to be set to a higher number, and that would be completely customizable by the user. Yeah. So does anyone else have any questions about anything we've discussed so far? No? Okay. So we'll move on to the next one, which is the Ezira community competition for April that we're operating. So Ezira is going to be having a competition called the April Community Competition. And that was released on the Ezira Twitter account earlier today. So there's 1,500 Ezira to be won over 3 huge weeks. And this is the largest competition that Ezira has ever run to date. So I'll just the competition. So it's the Ezira April Community Competition. All you need to do is join the Ezira Telegram. From there, you can learn about Ezira at Ezira.io, and you can enter your email and BitShares address to receive 1 Ezira from the faucet. And you can go to Ezira's Twitter account and retweet and share this post on Facebook as well. And every comment that includes a BitShares address will receive an additional 1 Ezira. So in the first week, we'll be having the first part of the competition, where users can pick their favorite "Why should I use Ezira" graph and describe why it's their favorite to Twitter or Facebook, and tag Ezira Network and Ezira. Then to enter the competition, you link it to the Telegram group, and the most posts, the post that receives the most retweets and shares and likes will win 300 Ezira, and 2 randomly selected entries will each win 100 Ezira. So for the 2 weeks after that, from the 16th to the 22nd, and from the 23rd to the 29th, so the next 2 weeks, there'll be a similar competition, except in the second week, the link will be to a favorite segment of an Ezira Hangout, and describe why it's your favorite to Twitter or Facebook, with the same tags and the same prizes. And in the third week, you can post a link to the Ezira outline and tag your favorite content creator and describe why you want them to join Ezira and why you think they would benefit from joining Ezira. And so all of these posts will be linked in the Ezira Telegram group to confirm their entry into the competition. And for all of them, it is the same rules for winning. So the post with the most retweets and shares added to likes will each win 300 Ezira per week, and then 2 other randomly selected entries will each win 100. Winners for these competitions will be announced in the Ezira Discord Hangout each week, and they will be announced to all of the people in the Discord. So what do we think about the Ezira competition there for April? So over 3 weeks, there'll be 1,500 Ezira up for grabs. So does anyone have any comments? Do you think you guys will want to enter the competition? Yep, that's mostly it. Yep. Okay, so in that case, we'll move on to the featured application for this week. So this week's featured application is the Decentralized Investment Fund. So a decentralized investment fund will be operated by elected traders. They'll provide stakeholders with an asset to represent a share of the fund, and this asset will be used to elect traders to have trading and lending control over a portion of the funds in the pool. Each fund will post its own investment objectives. So they'll describe what it is they want to invest in and how much risk they'll be tolerating in the way they select their assets. The net asset value of the fund will be determined by oracles. So each oracle will be able to post a price feed of the net asset value of all the assets in the fund, denominated in a base currency chosen by each one. So net asset value gains, a portion of those will be distributed to the traders that enable the fund to return positively each week. And those traders have to own a minimum amount of the fund asset themselves in order to be eligible, so that they have a direct incentive to return gains for their investors, and they also suffer financial losses if they perform badly or take too much risk. So they only earn when profits are made, and the users with the asset are able to vote to replace the traders with higher performing traders over time. So we'll move on to the next segment, which is the Ezira Sharedrop summary. So for those of you who are new to Ezira, we will be having a share drop on 10 different cryptocurrencies. So these will go to all the balances on several coins. They'll get a small amount of Ezira in the mainnet launch. So users will be able to import their existing wallet keys into the Ezira open source client-side wallet, and there they'll generate a transaction to claim their share drop allocation. This wallet will be fully replay protected, and it will not communicate with any Ezira-owned servers to generate and sign the transaction. So users' private keys from other chains will be completely safe, and they will not touch any Ezira-owned servers at all. And that code will be open source and verifiable to everybody. So the Ezira Node client will offer additional wallets when users import private keys holding a balance of another coin. They'll be able to then spend that coin from their Ezira wallet as a light wallet. So Ezira, the executive team at Ezira will run full nodes on each of these chains because we'll be running gateway assets on the Decentralized exchange for all of these coins. So we'll have a full node that'll enable anyone to connect to each of those 10 blockchains and make any transactions in those denominated coins directly from their Ezira wallet. So that's the Ezira Sharedrop summary. So that's pretty much a wrap for all of the allocated agenda today. So what we'll do now is we'll take a look through the Ezira Hangout thread and see if anyone had any topic ideas for us to go through. So we'll go through down to the comments. So we've got a few people asking, what is Ezira? So the post itself describes what Ezira is, and I've answered there that it's a social media and business platform combined with a decentralized exchange and a peer-to-peer marketplace. We've got one user comparing Steam and Bittrex as a combination. So that's a fairly good analogy. Ezira will be using the open source code base of Steam to start off the programming of the network, and from there we'll be making a large amount of changes to implement a lot of new features and bring in a lot of features of BitShares with some additional new features and some different economic parameters and a much more fair and widespread distribution mechanism. So we've got someone saying it's the first time they've heard about the project and that they'll definitely take part in the crowd sale. That's great. I've got someone asking, how can I join Sir? And I've answered that you can join the Hangout by being in the Discord channel at this time on that link there. So we've got a few more people asking, what is it? And I've given a small answer there. Then we've got some people saying, good luck for your channel. Thank you very much. So for those who didn't realize, the Ezira Hangout post did actually use voting bots to promote the network. So that's one of the issues that the Ezira white paper identifies with Steam, and it's something that makes economic sense for anyone on the platform to do, to use voting bots to actually promote their posts up the trending page, and it's possible to actually earn a profit from doing that specifically, in addition to reaching a wider audience. So the ability to purchase votes from voting bots is something that Ezira will address with many features. Going down the list, we've got a few more things here. I've got a few people saying things like, I'm going to sign up to your channel, I need to learn something new. And a few ones saying that he's a young Venezuelan, a sportsman, and he is new to this social network. I follow your work very closely, and I'm delighted with the potential you show in your publications, and that he plans to follow my account on Steemit. So that's most of the comments on the Ezira Hangout post. So make it clear to everyone that every week we do this Hangout. It will be open to requests for anyone to suggest a topic that we discuss, and to ask any question that you want me to answer about the project or anything related to cryptocurrency at all. So we'll head back to Discord there. So now we'll open the floor to general discussion for a few minutes and general questions and answers. So we'll go through to questions and answers. So does anyone have any more questions about the Ezira project or anything we've discussed today? Yep, great. Thank you, Steam Power. So does anyone have any other questions? So in that case, we'll finish up the Ezira Hangout for today. Well, we've got one. So Saurav, one of the great contributors to the Ezira Telegram channel's competitions previously. So he's discussing the prospect of adding a freelancing part to Ezira, where users can offer to do freelance work in exchange for Ezira coin, and a marketplace for freelance developers. So that'll definitely be one of the features of Ezira in the peer-to-peer marketplace. So instead of having a specific section for freelancers, what we'll be able to do is have anyone open an Ezira business page, and there they can promote a product which is their freelancing services for such and such an hour, or people could additionally make posts onto the working subreddit, which will be released as one of the default subreddits, one of the initial boards that will be created. Not subreddits, rather boards. So they are analogous to subreddits. So the initial boards, one of them will be one for people to offer to work for projects and to request workers as well. And those payments can be made through the Ezira peer-to-peer marketplace trading system with a mediation team to ensure that the work is done correctly and managed accordingly. So Steam Power has said Ezira seems to be all-inclusive for different business models. So that's quite the case. What I've tried to design with Ezira is something that combines social media with decentralized exchange and a peer-to-peer marketplace. Those three things combined together can really synergize well, I think, to enable anyone to essentially post anything, trade anything, and build anything. So if you can do those three things, you can pretty much include any business model on Ezira that involves buying or trading something, or posting some sort of content, or trading labor for time and effort, because Ezira is a general platform that allows anyone to conduct their own trades according to what they want to demand from sellers and things like that. So it's very all-inclusive for all business models. As you can see by the use case infographics, I've tried to include as many different business models as I can think of from a wide variety of walks of life, from models to scientists. There is honestly going to be a place for pretty much everyone on Ezira. So that's why we want to make sure that everyone can share information and value freely, because when we can do that, we can bring the cryptocurrency revolution to the world at large, and we can bring in 5 billion people into the economy and enable them to all have the economic freedom that everyone in the first world has had access to for a long time. We can bring everyone up to a higher standard of living by making economic freedom accessible to everyone around the world, regardless of how proficient and suitable their government is for actually using financial services and posting content freely. So things like censorship, things like transaction censorship, censorship of films and movies and music and things like that, and of speech especially, is widespread across the world, particularly in countries that don't have democratic governments. So because Ezira is designed to be built on a decentralized and distributed platform, it'll be able to operate in any environment that has electricity and an internet connection. So some of the amazing things that are being done on other currencies like Bitcoin Cash include the ability for anyone to send and receive Bitcoin Cash using a text message that doesn't require any internet connection at all. So that's one of the great ways that cryptocurrencies essentially giving everyone a much higher degree of economic freedom by allowing them to have money that works for some of these people for the first time in their lives. So another thing that's happening that I think is worth pointing out is the Eat BCH program. So that's in the Bitcoin Cash community. That's a fantastic project that's actually using Bitcoin Cash donations to effectively buy and distribute food for people in Venezuela that don't have access to a stable currency. So the Venezuelan government is banning all other currencies, and the currency of Venezuela, called the bolivar, is highly inflationary. It has no stability, no price confidence. It goes down in value very rapidly, and everyone's savings are eaten away. So these people don't have a lot of access to money that works, and Bitcoin Cash is essentially putting food in people's mouths right now. So that's something that I've taken to consideration when I created the Ezira Activity Reward. So the Activity Reward essentially gives everybody around the world that is active on the platform a share in 5% of all Ezira coin that is issued every day. So it'll be the first blockchain-based global universal basic income to everyone that has an Ezira profile account. So that's there are some ways that we can enable everyone to not only share information and value freely, but for some people around the world, even a small amount of money is actually enough to raise their standard of living by a factor of 2 or 3, by simply just enabling them to buy food and to start saving money. So saving money in a bank account is essentially not available to everyone on Earth. People have to save money in cash, which is inconvenient, or they have to save money in other forms of assets and things like that. That doesn't give them the financial freedom to actually transact and trade without a large fee, or a large remittance fee is another thing that affects the third world heavily. These things that are barriers to enabling people to start businesses and improve their lives. These are the things that can be brought down by cryptocurrency. So essentially, one by one, we'll be bringing applications onto Ezira that enable everyone to post anything, trade anything, and build anything. and I'll be starting off the list of applications that'll be possible on Ezira with the Ezira application and business case. So that's going to be a comprehensive document released that describes the majority of my ideas for making applications that build on Ezira's blockchain and Ezira's storage network to bring in essentially business models that wouldn't be possible without cryptocurrency. That's what we need to focus on. There's a lot of focus in cryptocurrency about ideas that work without a blockchain, and then the blockchain is shoehorned in as a mechanism to raise money for a project that wouldn't otherwise be that valuable. So what I've done is I'm going to be making a business and application case for Ezira applications that deliver genuine value to users by effectively enabling business models that would not be possible without cryptocurrency. This is a cryptocurrency first project. This is a project to enable everyone everywhere to have the same level of freedom, economic freedom and social freedom, guaranteed by immutable code instead of with the whims of politicians and things like that. This is to bring the community and essentially the level of economic activity that we enjoy in the first world to everyone around the world, while also giving much more powerful features to everyone over things like Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, which frequently demonetize and censor people on their platform for saying things that are politically inconvenient, that aren't convenient for advertisers, and things that essentially don't fit the mold of mainstream discourse. The things that we should be talking about as a society aren't the ideas that are popular. They're the ideas that are unpopular now, but can become popular if more people understand them and understand the people who follow them and the reasons why they have those ideas. So Ezira is going to be enabling free speech for everyone as not even a human right, as an immutable blockchain right. So there won't be a government necessary to enforce freedom of speech, because there'll be nothing stopping anyone from posting anything on the Ezira blockchain, and there'll be no ability for anyone to censor that. So on that note, I think we'll open the floor up to any questions that anyone might have about anything that we've discussed so far, and in general about the Ezira project. So does anyone have any further questions? Thank you, Steve Power. So if no one has any more questions, then I think we'll sign off the Ezira Hangout. So thank you to everybody for joining in. Thank you for all the interesting questions that were asked. And next week on the Ezira Hangout, we'll be announcing the winner of this Twitter competition for April's community competition. We'll be giving away 500 Ezira to the winners of the competition there, to 3 winners. And I'd remind everyone that you can learn more about the Ezira project at www.ezira.io. So a great way to start is to read the Ezira outline. It can be read in under 5 minutes, and it describes in completely non-technical terms what Ezira plans to do, why Ezira is important, and why it's critical that everybody take a stand essentially against the mainstream social media platforms that are, I would say, deteriorating in trustworthiness every day, and they're also not financially viable in the long term, because things like ad blockers will heavily damage the model of advertising. Things like user privacy and encryption are being eroded every day. So that's why it's critical that everybody take a stand and help those who are helping you to have your economic freedom, to empower you socially to have social freedom. And it's critical that we all band together to understand what it is that the mainstream social media platforms are doing and what we can do to not necessarily fight against them, but to build around them and to build alternatives. That's important, to build alternatives instead of saying something is bad, instead of saying I don't like this platform or that platform. What's critical is that we can recognize that we need to change, that we need to build better solutions, and that we need to bring people back into the loop, that we need to ensure that the user is always the priority of a platform. So that's why I've designed Ezira to have all sorts of elected mechanisms for checks and balances for all the people who operate it. That's why there's no private company that operates Ezira. That's why Ezira is going to be owned and operated by users now and forever. So I'll hand it over to the after party, and thank you everyone for coming. And remember to always protect your crypto assets and make sure that you back up your private keys. That's #1 security concern for everyone in cryptocurrency. Your private keys are your money. If you don't own your private keys, you don't own your money. It's that simple. I'm Harrison McLean, CEO of Ezira. Thank you everybody, and good night.